I know what I want. Not a girl, a woman, a real woman who has lived life, who knows who she is, who has wisdom that only comes with age. Someone in her 50s or 60s, someone who understands. If this is you, if you are that woman, comment yes below, because I am not interested in playing games. I want something real with someone real with you. I am certain, I am clear, I know exactly what I am looking for, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not apologetic about it. I want a mature woman, a woman who has lived, a woman who has experience, a woman who knows herself, a woman your age. Let me be direct. Let me be honest. Let me tell you exactly what I mean when I say I want a woman, not a girl. Let me tell you why age matters to me, why experience matters, why wisdom matters, why you matter. A girl does not know who she is yet. She is still figuring it out, still trying on different versions of herself, still discovering what she likes and what she wants and what she believes. And that is fine. That is part of being young. But I do not want that. I do not want to be with someone who is still finding herself. I want someone who has already found herself. Someone who knows exactly who she is. A woman knows herself. She has lived long enough to understand her own mind, her own heart, her own values. She has tried things, made mistakes, learned lessons, grown, changed, evolved. And through all of that, she has discovered who she really is, not who she thinks she should be, not who other people want her to be, but who she actually is. And she is comfortable with that, confident in that, solid in that. That is what I want. That self-knowledge, that confidence, that certainty, that only comes with age, that only comes with experience, that only comes with living long enough to figure yourself out. You cannot fake that. You cannot rush that. You have to earn it through years of living. And that is exactly what makes it so valuable. A girl is focused on surfaces, on appearances, on what things look like from the outside, on impressing people, on fitting in, on being liked. And I understand that when you are young, those things feel important. They feel like they matter. But I have lived long enough to know they do not matter. Not really. Not in the way that counts. A woman sees deeper. She looks past surfaces. She cares about substance, about character, about what is real. She is not trying to impress anyone. She is not performing. She is just being herself. And she values depth in others because she has depth herself. She can have real conversations, real connections, real relationships because she is real. And that is what I need. That depth, that substance, that realness. I am tired of shallow. I am tired of surface level. I am tired of conversations that go nowhere and connections that mean nothing. I want to talk to someone who actually thinks, who actually feels, who actually understands. And that someone is a woman who has lived long enough to develop that depth. A girl has energy, youth, excitement, and those things are nice, but they are not enough. Not for me, not anymore. I need more than energy. I need wisdom. I need understanding. I need someone who gets it, who gets life, who gets people, who gets me. And that takes time. That takes experience. That takes age. A woman has wisdom. She has lived through things. She has experienced joy and pain and loss and love and disappointment and triumph. She has been through enough to understand how life works, how people work, how relationships work. She knows what matters and what does not. She knows what to hold on to and what to let go of. She has perspective that only comes from years of living. And that wisdom is attractive. That wisdom is valuable. That wisdom is exactly what I'm looking for. Because I do not need someone to tell me what they think I want to hear. I need someone to tell me the truth. Even when it is hard, especially when it is hard. And a woman with wisdom will do that, will be honest, will be real. Because she has lived long enough to know that truth matters more than comfort. Let me tell you what I see when I look at a mature woman. I do not see age as a negative. I do not see wrinkles as something to fix. I do not see gray hair as something to hide. I see a life lived. I see experiences collected. I see wisdom earned. I see beauty that goes deeper than skin. I see someone who has become who she is supposed to be. Society tells us that youth is beautiful, that younger is better, that aging is something to fight against, something to hide, something to be ashamed of. And that is wrong. That is completely wrong. Youth is not the peak. Youth is the beginning. The real beauty comes later. With age, with experience, with wisdom, with knowing yourself, with being comfortable in your own skin, that is when a woman becomes truly beautiful. And I see that. I appreciate that. I value that your age is not something I am overlooking. It is not something I am tolerating despite wanting you. It is part of what makes you attractive to me. Part of what makes you valuable. Part of what makes you exactly what I am looking for. Your age means you have lived. You have stories. You have experiences. You have learned things that cannot be taught. You have wisdom that cannot be bought. You have depth that cannot be faked. And all of that makes you more interesting, more valuable, more worthy of my time and attention and affection. Your age means you know what you want. You are not confused. You are not wishy-washy. You are not playing games. You know what matters to you. You know what you need from a relationship. You know what you are willing to accept and what you are not. And that clarity is refreshing. That certainty is attractive. That honesty is exactly what I need. Your age means you have patience. You have learned that not everything happens on your timeline, that good things take time. That rushing does not help. That patience is a virtue that actually matters. You do not need instant gratification. You do not need everything right now. You can wait. You can let things develop naturally. And that patience creates space for real connection to grow. Your age means you have emotional maturity. You have learned how to handle your emotions, how to communicate, how to work through problems, how to not overreact to every little thing. You have perspective. You can see beyond the moment. You can think before you speak. You can respond instead of react. And that emotional maturity makes relationships easier, better, more stable, more real. Your age means you value different things. You are not impressed by flashy displays. You are not swayed by empty promises. You are not fooled by surface charm. You look deeper. You value character. You value honesty. You value consistency. You value real connection over exciting moments. And those values align with what I need, what I want, what I am looking for. Let me tell you what I do not want. I do not want drama. I do not want games. I do not want someone who says one thing and does another. I do not want someone who is still figuring out what they want. I do not want someone who needs constant validation. I do not want someone who is insecure about themselves. I do not want shallow conversations about nothing. I do not want a relationship that is all excitement and no substance. And those things are common with younger women, not because they are bad people, but because they have not lived long enough to grow past those things yet. They have not developed the maturity, the wisdom, the self-knowledge, the stability. Those things come with time, with age, with experience. And that is why I want someone older, someone who has already done that growing. Someone who is already who she is going to be. I want conversations that matter about life, about experiences, about ideas, about values, about what we believe and why, about what we have learned, about what matters to us. I want to talk to someone who can actually engage with those topics, who has thought about those things, who has perspectives based on real experience. And that is what a mature woman offers. I want emotional stability. I want to be with someone who does not overreact, who does not create drama where there is none, who can handle life's ups and downs without falling apart, who has been through enough to know that most problems can be solved, that most bad days pass, that staying calm helps, that losing your mind does not. That stability comes from maturity, from experience, from age. I want someone who knows what she wants from a relationship, who can articulate it, who can communicate it, who does not expect me to read her mind, who is direct, honest, clear, someone who says what she means and means what she says, someone who has lived long enough to learn how to communicate effectively, how to express needs without playing games, how to be honest without being cruel. That communication skill comes from practice, from years of relationships, from age. I want someone who is comfortable with herself, who does not need constant reassurance, who does not need me to validate her every day, who knows her own worth, who is secure in who she is, who does not compare herself to other women, who does not worry about aging or changing or not being perfect, who accepts herself as she is. And that self-acceptance comes from maturity, from living long enough to realize that perfection is not the goal. Being yourself is I want someone who has her own life, her own interests, her own friends, her own passions, who does not need me to be her entire world, who is complete on her own, who wants me in her life but does not need me to survive, who understands that healthy relationships have space, have independence, have two full people coming together to share their lives, not two halves trying to become whole. That understanding comes from experience, from previous relationships, from learning what works and what does not, from age. And I want someone who values the same things I value, not money, not status, not appearances, but real things. Family, connection, honesty, loyalty, kindness, depth, meaning, purpose. Those values develop over time, over years of living, of seeing what actually matters, of learning what brings real happiness. Young people are still figuring that out. Mature women already know. I want someone who understands commitment, who knows what it takes to build something lasting, who has maybe been married before, who has been in long relationships, who understands the work involved, the compromise, the patience, the forgiveness, the choosing each other every day. Young women often have romantic ideas about relationships. Mature women have realistic understanding, and realistic is what works. Realistic is what lasts. I want someone who is financially stable, who has her own resources, who is not looking for someone to take care of her, who has built her own life, her own security, her own independence. Not because I care about money, but because financial independence indicates maturity, self-sufficiency, the ability to take care of yourself, and that is attractive, that is valuable. That shows you are with me because you want to be, not because you need to be. I want someone who has raised children or who has chosen not to. Either way, she has made that choice consciously. She has lived through those decisions and their consequences. If she has children, they are likely grown now. She has time for a relationship. She has energy to invest in us. She is not overwhelmed by young children. She has been through that stage and has wisdom from it. And if she chose not to have children, she is comfortable with that choice. She is not questioning it. She knows herself well enough to know what she wanted. I want someone who takes care of herself, not obsessively, not because she is trying to look younger, but because she values her health, her well-being, her ability to enjoy life. She exercises, maybe eats well, takes care of her body, not to impress anyone, but for herself, because she has lived long enough to understand that health matters, that taking care of yourself matters, that you cannot enjoy life if you do not take care of the vessel that carries you through it. I want someone who has lost people, who has experienced grief, who knows what it feels like to lose someone important. Not because I wish that pain on anyone, but because that experience teaches empathy, teaches perspective, teaches gratitude, teaches you to value the people you still have, teaches you not to take relationships for granted. That is wisdom that only comes from loss, from living long enough to experience that pain and grow from it. I want someone who has made mistakes, big ones, who has failed at things, who has been wrong, who has hurt people unintentionally, who has had to apologize, who has had to make amends, who has had to learn from consequences. Because making mistakes and learning from them is how we grow. And a woman who has lived long enough to make serious mistakes and grown from them has wisdom that someone who has played it safe cannot have. I want someone who laughs easily, who finds joy in simple things, who has learned that happiness is not about big moments but small ones, who appreciates a good conversation, a nice meal, a beautiful sunset, a quiet evening, who does not need constant excitement to be happy, who has learned that contentment is better than excitement, that peace is better than passion, that steady is better than intense. Those lessons come from living long enough to try both and learn which one actually works. Let me tell you about the beauty I see in an older woman. It is not the smooth skin of youth. It is the lines that tell stories. Every wrinkle is an experience. Every gray hair is a year lived. Every mark on your body is evidence that you have lived a full life, that you have laughed enough to create smile lines, that you have lived long enough to have gray hair, that you have experienced enough to have a body that shows it. And that is beautiful to me. That is attractive to me because those marks mean something. They represent a life, lived, experiences collected, wisdom earned. You have become who you are through all of those experiences, through all of those years. And the evidence of that journey is written on your body. And I find that far more beautiful than unmarked youth. Your confidence is beautiful. The way you carry yourself, the way you know who you are, the way you do not apologize for yourself, the way you take up space without hesitation, the way you speak your mind, the way you hold your ground. That confidence comes from years of learning to value yourself, of learning that you deserve respect, of learning that your opinions matter, of learning to stop shrinking yourself for others. Your grace is beautiful. The way you handle difficult situations, the way you manage stress, the way you treat people even when they do not deserve it, the way you remain kind without being weak, the way you remain strong without being hard. That grace comes from experience, from learning through trial and error, from making mistakes and growing from them, from developing emotional intelligence over years of living. Your depth is beautiful. The layers of who you are, the complexity of your thoughts and feelings, the richness of your inner world, the way you can talk about meaningful things, the way you see nuance where others see black and white. The way you understand that life is that people are complicated, that nothing is as simple as it seems. That depth develops over time through experiences, through age. Your wisdom is beautiful. The things you know, the lessons you have learned, the perspective you have gained, the way you can see patterns, the way you can anticipate consequences, the way you can offer advice that actually helps, the way you understand people, the way you understand life. That wisdom cannot be rushed. It cannot be taught. It has to be earned through living. And you have earned it, I know. Society has told you that your value decreases as you age, that you are past your prime, that men want younger women, that you should feel invisible or irrelevant or less than. And I am here to tell you that is all wrong. All of it, your value has not decreased. It has increased. You are not past your prime. You are in your prime, the prime of wisdom, the prime of self-knowledge, the prime of depth, the prime of real beauty. And men who want younger women are missing the point. They are chasing youth because they do not understand value. They think new is better. They think fresh is better. They think youth equals desirability. But they are wrong. Youth is just youth. It is potential. But you are actualized potential. You are the fulfillment of what youth promises to become. You are what happens when potential meets experience and time and growth. Do not let anyone make you feel like your age is something to apologize for. Do not let society's obsession with youth make you feel less valuable. Do not let younger women make you feel irrelevant. You are not irrelevant. You are essential. You have something they do not have yet and cannot have until they live long enough to earn it. You have become, you have arrived, you are who you are meant to be. And that is powerful. That is valuable. That is exactly what I want. Share this if it spoke to you. If it reminded you that age is valuable, that maturity is attractive, that wisdom is beautiful. If it made you feel seen, appreciated, valued, share it with other women who need to hear that their age is their strength. Subscribe to see what happens, to follow this story, to see if she responds, to see if this connection becomes something real, because I will share it. I will tell you, I will let you know when I find her. Comment yes, and let me know you are out there, because I am looking for you, and I will not stop until I find you.